good, I must say, but I must also say that he is kind of niche. He only fit to certain party formation. So first, for Stats Awakening, there is only one passive you can awaken, and it is Axe Mastery, so make sure you awaken this. And this is good, but the problem is, if you see on the screen this, okay, you can see that he can reach 180% attack boost, but the problem is you need to equip Axe, and the problem is still same like when he was released back then. See this, Axe, okay? There are only two-handed axe. First is his own STMR, and second is his Wolfane axe. It is not actually a limited axe, so you may don't have this. But this axe is quite good for him, because if you want to make him into a buffer, then this axe gives you 50% LB gauge fill rate. So yes, good if you have it, but if you don't have two-handed axe, then your best bet is this refined engine axe, because it has innate fire element. So talking about the boost, he also gets another 50% true double hand. That means he gets 150% true double hand, and if you count his trust ability, that means 200% true double hand. I think that's kind of low, because usually I think the awakened characters should have 250% after equipping that Trust Master. For example, Sid, his innate true double hand is 200%, and after you equip his TMR, Sid has 250%. But for Ignacio, oh, only 200%, but yeah, I guess we just only can accept that. And I think that's it for his passive. He was kind of tanky before, and right now he is still tanky, but too bad they don't give him any boost. Maybe 20% health or 30% health would be nice, but yeah, too bad he didn't get it. Now let's talk about the abilities. The first ability you need to awaken is this critical stamp +2. This is really important, because on +2 upgrade, you will always get your triple cast when you cast it. Okay, strike while the iron's hot. So this one, strike while the iron is hot. Okay, and yeah, on the first turn, you always have triple cast, so make sure you include your critical stamp on every action to maintain this triple cast. So yeah, it is, you can say that he has permanent triple cast, okay, in that case. And the second and third ability, I think it is his main strength, okay, unique point, I mean, this forged weapon and forged armor. This is really good. Why you say it is good? First, because it buffs you 180%. Okay, like you know that 180% are top tier buff. So far, we have only Primrose who able to beat Ignacio in terms of the numbers. You may say Sylvie and Never Ending Hope. Yes, they are great, but if I remember correctly, Sylvie's top tier buff, I mean highest buff, is only at 170%, and Hope, while he can buff you 180% and it is undispellable, the buffs are not available on demand because it is a cooldown ability. So once you cast it, there's off period when you need to go on the battle without that 180% buff. So for Ignacio here, you can easily maintain this 180% throughout the battle because it only need 5 LB crystals. Okay, but the problem is because it needs LB crystals, you will have a problem on the first turn. That's why if you use Ignacio, then I think you should have a character like Malphasy, Lena, who able to fill LB to everyone on the first turn. Or if you don't have those characters, then at least have someone who able to buff all your stats, especially defensive stats on the beginning. For example, you can use Auron, because Auron break will also buff your stats on the first turn. and Irit is also good. After that, it is really easy to maintain the LB crystals for this because you can get the upgrade using this full burst stamp. This will fill 17 LB gauge to caster. Okay, and it is available every 2 turns. Whoa, very distant. Okay, so basically you will always have enough LB to cast this buff for your parties. Okay, so when you run out of LB and your buff gonna end on the next turn, then simply cast it, and on the next turn you can cast this. But I don't think you will have hard time to find this 15 LB crystals to cast your buff. First, because he has this 100% faster LB rate, and if you equip and must equip his Trust Master, we'll get another 50%. So that means 150% faster LB rate. And yes, he also able to give this buff to everyone, and this. So it is really easy to fill his LB gauge, guys. You won't have a problem if you want to use him as a buffer. The problem is only on the first turn. Okay, and the next thing you need to upgrade, of course, this crush stamp, because this will increase your multiply your fire damage. It is also important because with this offensive buff, your party gonna get fire element to his physical attack. This is good, especially if you use a character like Sid. Like, you know that Sid cannot imperil or imbue himself with elemental weapon. But for Ignacio, if you have Ignacio with Sid, then whoa, it is good, but I don't recommend because those two are a finisher characters. Okay, so yeah, really good abilities, but this fire element imbue can also become a bad thing because sometimes the enemy resists fire or absorb fire damage. At that time, your party, this buff gonna be useless. Okay, that's the problem. So enough about talking about that abilities awakening. Now let's talk about the damage rotation. So on the first turn, if you want to use Seek Heart, of course, use Forged Weapon and Armor. That requires you 15 LB crystals. Where you get the LB crystals, like I said, Lena or Malvasi. If you don't have that, then the first turn should be Crush Stamp, Full Burst Stamp, and Critical Stamp. So basically, you can see the screen. If you don't have enough LB to cast your buffs, then use the second turn action on the turn. That will fill your LB gauge and give you maximum damage and allow you to use triple cast again on the next turn. Okay, and will allow you to use your buff on the next turn. Okay, very good. And yeah, if you manage to use 3 critical stamp, okay, you can deal 56.25 times damage, or if you count with the imperil effect, you will deal 118 times damage, which is very big because, yeah, compared to, let's see this, compared to, compared to Sid, of course, Sid still lose. Okay, Ignacio still loses, but compared to, let's say, Laswell, see this, they are almost on par. Okay, so Ignacio is really good. Okay, he can buff and act as powerful finisher when you don't need his buff. Okay, and because his buff lasts for 5 turns, you can use his offensive abilities frequently. So really, guys, maybe he is niche, but if you're able to use him, then he is very good buffer. So for party example, I recommend you to bring Auron, Seek Heart, Secretary Charlotte, Irit, and Ignacio. So the reason why Auron is great is because his cooldown ability, you gonna always use this at the beginning of the battle. Okay, you will use this 70% break, and you also get 140% all stats buff. In that case, your Ignacio doesn't need to use his buff on the first turn. So yeah, simply use this full burst stem, and on the next turn you can replace our own buff with Ignacio buff. Then you may say, what will happen because you need 30% damage mitigation? That's when Irate comes into play, because she can cast that 30% damage mitigation, guys. Okay, where is it? 30% damage mitigation. Planet Protector. This one. Okay, and then for tanker, you can use Sick Heart and Sacred Shield Charlotte. Those are the best in my opinion. You can also replace Sacred Shield Charlotte with Awakened Rain, because Awakened Rain able to give you all elements resist, while Irate able to give you break resist. So they complement each other. Okay, and finally, because Auron able to chain with Absolute Mirror of Equity, 2 elements, and Auron also major on fire. Like I said, if you bring Ignacio, make sure you can damage the enemy using fire attack. Okay, so here Auron able to chain, and for your friend, you simply search for anyone who able to chain Absolute Mirror of Equity. You can choose, let's say, Zeno or whatever. Okay, and your party is gonna be perfect with Ignacio as your finisher and buffer. Okay, so yep, I think that's all you need to know about Ignacio. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more Final Fantasy Brave Exvius guide. Bye bye, guys.